And this one came, I think, from Grace, am I correct? You wanted to do this? So, the Township of Jefferson, County of Morris, State of New Jersey proclamation, National Water Safety Month, May 2025. Whereas the citizens of Jefferson Township, along with the New Jersey Swim Alliance and New Jersey Recreation and Park Association, recognize the vital role that swimming and aquatic-related activities relate to good physical and mental health and enhance the quality of life for all people, and also understand the essential role that education regarding the topic of water safety plays in preventing drownings and recreational water-related injuries. And whereas the citizens of Jefferson Township, along with NJSSA and NJRPA, are aware of the contributions made by the recreational water industry in developing safe swimming facilities, aquatic programs, home pools and spas, and related activities, providing healthy places to recreate, learn, and grow, build self-esteem, confidence, and sense of self-worth, which contributes to the quality of life in our community. And whereas the citizens of Jefferson Township, along with the NJSSA and NJRPA, recognize the ongoing efforts and commitments to educate the public on pool and spa safety issues and understand the vital importance of communicating water safety rules and programs to families and individuals of all ages, whether owners of private pools, users of public swimming facilities, or visitors to water parks. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Mayor Eric F. Susan and the Jefferson Township Council that the month of May 2025 will be recognized as National Water Safety Month, and this proclamation will be read publicly at the council meeting on May 7th, 2025, and will be spread upon the minutes of said meeting. So, Grace?
And just so everybody knows, the police department, in conjunction with the state police, Kids Safe, we are doing a lot of water safety training at the elementary level. And compliments to the PVA, they donated money, so we're able to provide flotation devices for the elementary level kids.
And just to add to that a little bit, I talked with Mayor Will Susan, and we're looking to partner with all the towns that border Lake Opakong to do this water safety initiative. It is a statewide initiative that's been going on for many years. We'll be doing a bathing suit and goggle drive that helps, you know, when we provide bathing suits, that saves lives because the kids can't take lessons without them. And also there's something called the world's largest swim lesson, which is an actual organization. And all across the world, they do this swim lesson for families who can't afford it. And I'm looking to partner with the other towns to do that as well. Opakong may be hosting it for us. So we'll be doing it.
That's great.
Thank you. All right, so I guess we'll.
Yeah, come on up, guys.
Come on up, guys.
Yep. Adam, come on.
Alright. So Township of Jefferson, County of Morris, State of New Jersey proclamation, National Police Week 2025. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Jefferson Police Department, and whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, there are currently more than 24,000 law enforcement officers in the United States that have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. And whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C., and whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Memorial Fund's 37th Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2025, and whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of the National Police Week, which will be observed this year, May 11th through May 17th, and whereas Thursday, May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Mayor Eric F. Susan and the Jefferson Township Council that the Township of Jefferson will observe May 11th through May 17th, 2025 as National Police Week in Jefferson Township, and we thank the law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation for their service. This proclamation will be read publicly at the council meeting on May 7th, 2025, and will be spread upon the minutes of said meeting and signed by the council and the mayor. So thank you guys very much.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And this was in conjunction, right, with the Unity tour?
Yes.
Oh.
And so everybody knows also, we have several officers from Jefferson PD. They're going to be riding their bicycles from Somerset County down to Washington DC. They're going to be departing this Friday and riding down and getting into DC, I'm pretty sure, on Monday. So Officer Haskins, Officer Lewis here, Officer Riley, they're all riding. We also have some retired officers that are coming in as support teams and also assisting getting these guys all down to Washington DC. So it's a great event down there, and I'm glad they're supporting everybody. All right, thank you.
That's great.
Thank you guys very much.
Right on time.
Hi, Chris.
That's why you came back.
Come on. Come on. All right.
Hello.
This proclamation is in recognition of the Municipal Clerks Week, and I honestly have to say I'm happy to read this because I am also a certified municipal clerk. So, Township of Jefferson, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, proclamation, 56th Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week, May 4th through the 10th, 2025. Whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides a professional link between citizens, local governing bodies, and agencies of governments at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, and to render equal service to all, and whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, and whereas it is most appropriate that the accomplishments of the professional municipal clerk be recognized. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Mayor Eric F. Susan and the Township Council of the Township of Jefferson, County of Morris, New Jersey, that May 4th through May 10th, 2025 is recognized as Professional Municipal Clerks Week. This proclamation will be read publicly at the council meeting of May 7th, 2025, and will be spread upon the minutes of said meeting. Be it further proclaimed that appreciation is extended to our professional municipal clerks, Michelle Riley and Amanda Nevins, for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the Township of Jefferson, signed by the council and Mayor Wilson.
Hold on, Chuck, I was supposed to open it.
You gotta hold it up.
There you go.
Oh, phew.
Thanks, Chris. And I practiced them I don't know how many times, so I didn't mess up anything. Look at that.
Beautiful job.
You're human.
Good job, Ms. Mayor.
Okay. If you could.
A little to the brains, right? Is that what it says?
That's why you're sitting next to me, I think.
Okay, next we'll open up for a public comment. Please state the name. Each speaker listed, limited to one comment of no more than 5 minutes. Would you like to, Over?
Thank you, appreciate it. Adam Riley, ADAM, RLEY, Vice President of Local 190. It has come to the PBA's attention our earned sick time sidebar agreement, which was signed with the township a month ago, still does not have a resolution proposed on the agenda. Although we see proposed for discussion in an executive session, we would like to know why there is no resolution proposed for a vote tonight. PBA President Christopher Small and I met with the town administration regarding this issue, and they have been helpful in keeping us apprised of the status of the matter throughout this process. Our union and town administration were able to work this sidebar out and to come to an agreement on the mandated sick time earned in a quick and efficient manner. Our attorney, used by the union, informed and supplied us with both the state statute for the minimum requirement of sick time earned each year, as well as multiple perk hearings where judge ruled in the favor of unions earning the minimum of 120 hours sick time a year. In perk hearing 2025-06, page 7, paragraph 1, it is stated, there are no civil service statutes exempting police and firefighters from this statutory minimum. We therefore find that NJSA 11A65 exemptly exempts the parties from negotiating for anything less than 15 days of sick leave annually. And in statute, it states, full-time state and political subdivision employees shall receive a sick leave credit of no less than 1 working day for each completed month of service during the remainder of the first calendar year of service and 15 working days in every year thereafter. Unused sick time will be accumulated without limit. Our union reviewed this statute, the perk decisions, and after speaking with our attorney, we had a meeting and voted in favor of the sidebar agreement. I understand you all have received copies of both the state statute and perk discussions in this matter, and have had time to review the same. I would like to thank the members of our union attorney, Merrick Limsky, and the town administration for being able to come to this resolution in an amicable manner. Time is a factor here, and the union has been more than gracious in its time and has given this time to be rectified and voted on. If it's not voted on and approved, the union will have no choice but to take legal action and do agreements on this matter. Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment. I just want you to know that, I
Wait,
don't know
wait,
why.
Hold on a second.
I'll go the microphone. Sure.
We, as a council.
No, don't say we.
The council code states that the council will not vote on an item, this is not every item, but will not vote on an item unless it was discussed in a prior meeting. We have not discussed this. We've received some information, and you mentioned mayor. What was the mayor's name that you mentioned?
The mayor?
In your thing, you wanted to thank mayor?
No, my attorney, Merrick Limsky.
Merrick?
Yes.
Attorney?
Yeah,
We've never seen anything from him.
that's fine. You don't need to see anything from him. The state statute is what you need to see, as well as the perk hearings, which I believe were provided to you from the attorney as well,
We'll
correct?
be discussing this. Some of the council members have questions. We'll be hopefully getting our questions resolved.
3 weeks ago we saw it.
So you saw it for 3 weeks, and it's a state statute. You are violating a state statute right now.
If we can
There
still make
there are
a,
other contexts that go along with this.
we can still make a resolution to vote after our closed session.
Hey,
so-
I'm just telling you guys what
I totally agree.
our solution's gonna be if we don't get this vote on tonight. Okay, so now you have the state statute, you have the perk hearings, and if you're not gonna vote on tonight, we have no other choice, okay? We've been nothing but gracious to you guys. The information needed is a state statute. That's what the civil service follows.
There are also contracts that pertain to state.
The contract was done
We'll-
2
we'll
decades
be
ago.
discussing this in
Well, you
closed
called me back, so you discussed this, and you wanna say this, but 2 decades ago, we negotiated this, and in the perk hearing, which a judge decided, you cannot negotiate this time, okay? You have this information now, and now it's on you guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Please take note of who's questioning this, boys.
Robert Vanderploeg Jr., Vanderploeg, 14 Crystal Road. I don't know if I have to say that right. Anyway,
No.
so I do have 2 comments, but I was just curious because the way I understood it, that there were 5 days of sick time were negotiated for something else in a previous contract, but you know, I don't know. That's just what it, you know, how we had arrived where we are. But anyway, have there been any changes made to the town code yet by the company or anybody that is working on that code review?
Any changes to the code have to be done, I believe, through ordinance. This is how the code was established, through ordinance. Mostly people, that's our constitution, is that right, Attorney?
That's correct. In order to make any changes to the code, there would have to be an ordinance that would be introduced, and then we'd have a hearing. The ordinance would have to be adopted for changes to the municipal code.
The code, though, is, for all intents and purposes, our document, our living, breathing document, that is like a constitution, we follow the code based on the ordinances that were adopted, whether we adopted them or someone else adopted them. Right?
Correct, that's how we established, yep, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The other thing I would just like to present to the council is some of us come up here regularly, myself included, and make comments. And we do not see our comments prior to the minutes being approved, at which point we have no recourse to change those minutes. So if our thoughts or words, and I can say because people know that I have copies of meeting minutes on CD, that the minutes do not necessarily capture accurately what the public may have to say. So I would propose that along with the draft agenda, that we post a draft copy of the minutes. Excuse me? Can you answer that? You can say it, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, that's not something.
Yeah, the preparation and review and approval of the minutes are indeed in the responsibility of the council.
Okay.
It's not a public document that.
So what recourse would I have if my comments aren't captured accurately?
The recourse that you have is to come to the subsequent meeting and state on the record what you believe are inconsistencies within how you were depicted in those minutes. And then that would be reflected in the minutes of that particular meeting.
Well, I can't say I like it, but I'll do what I gotta do. Thank you.
Donna Vanderplug, Vanderploeg. Kind of feel bummed about bringing this up since you just did your appreciation thing. But going back to my issue with the clerk's office. Yeah, I know, you keep sighing back there. I hear you constantly. So I see on the bills list that we're reimbursing the clerk for her attendance at the Chamber of Commerce dinner for $120. Is the clerk's job, duties, responsibility to go to a Chamber of Commerce dinner? I mean, I don't understand how that ties into her job, her responsibilities, and who would be the person who signs off on that. I mean, I had my meeting last month, April 16th, with both the mayor and our business administrator for 2 hours. My husband and I met with them. We discussed many items, one of them being responsibilities of the clerk, and they made it very clear to my husband and I that neither of them have anything to do with the clerk's office or what the clerk does or how the clerk is to do their job or the deputy. That it's totally the council president is who the clerk reports to, as has been when Mr. Dunham was president, when Councilwoman Senator was president, when Debbie Mers was president, always the clerk always reported to the council president as per our statute, our code in Jefferson. So I don't understand. We are tight on money. I don't know why between the school district and the town, the taxes are going up, and we're spending. It might not seem like a lot, $120, but $120 here, $1,000 there, increasing pays, paying people a lot more than they should be paid. Well, that's a whole nother issue, but it adds up, and the taxpayers are really getting tired of it. So I would like the council, since you are the ones that are responsible for the clerk's office, to please make sure that the money is being spent properly, just like when they close the office for a whole week for the two of them to go to a conference. And still nobody really gave me an answer as to who approved that. I mean, it's not something that you just go on a whim, you have to register and book your hotel.
Okay, you can if you want.
I'm done.
I asked the administrator today on a conversation, and she's been very gracious up to the last couple of meetings. I asked her if the township clerk reports to the administration, and she said that no, that they don't.
Right,
But they do sign the purchase orders, obviously.
well, no, and Michelle is her own department head, so she has the authorization to put in her purchase order. I second approval it, and then Bill certifies the funds. So if there's money in her budget, like the Chamber of Commerce Center you're asking for, it was a previous council member that received the Citizen of the Year award, so that is why they attended, as well as myself, the mayor. You know, we were all in attendance, so we all got reimbursed for going to the event. We all put out the money and then we get reimbursed. So it is built into our budget. We have, you know, conferences, meetings, things like that built into our budget every year so that we can attend these type of events.
So that's obviously a much needed thing since the clerk's office dealt with the former council president. But as far as other expenses and other items and other conventions and other activities, the clerk's office does not clear anything through your office, is that correct?
No, normally we'll get notified if they're going to something like that, but, you know, we approve whatever purchase orders go through, but, you know, Michelle, you know, does inform us, so the receptionist knows if she's not gonna be there, and we're aware too.
Okay, you said that the clerk is her own department head. You
Yes.
have numerous department heads throughout this. Do those department heads all report to somebody?
I mean,
They have a
the
supervisor?
majority of all the departments, except for the clerk, is, you know, they all report to me. I mean, you gotta remember, Michelle's job isn't just the secretary to the governing body, she's also the, you know, the corporate secretary, so she does deal with administration on that end. She's the election, you know, person, she does the Oprahs, everything like that, so she has to interact with all the departments all the time.
Sure.
So in, you know, in some respects, some of it does fall possibly under administration, but the way our ordinance is written, I believe, you know, she does respond to the council.
And during our discussion today, you brought up other department heads and you concurred that other department heads wear other different hats and they don't just, they cross-train everything. So there's nothing unusual about the clerk's office having other duties and stuff. But a lot of those duties, be it liquor licenses and things like that, all revert right back to the town council as far as the final indication goes. So I think I need to ask the attorney, Mr. Ryan, under our form of government, who does the clerk, who's the department head?
Yeah, the municipal clerk is a statutory position.
So I'm gonna say that if we're gonna talk
Excuse me.
about personnel issues.
No, I'm asking about our form of government
We're not.
and the supervision, not
Talking about
anything in
We're
particular.
not.
position.
Yes, exactly.
And it's a statutory position. So it's governed by statute as well as by municipal code.
So in our form of government, and there are many forms of government just like ours, and walking around, who does the clerk report to?
The
Who
municipal
supervises?
clerk reports to the council.
Council as a whole.
Council as a whole.
It's very good. We cleared that
Should
up.
we set a time and another date to, say, discuss the roles of the clerk?
Yeah, I'm not discussing individual things, I'm
No,
discussing,
you are.
no, I'm discussing our
You
job.
are.
Excuse
Let's
me.
not get ourselves.
I don't wanna get into any
Please,
details here.
please.
I'm asking the attorney what our role is as far as potentially supervising a department that we're responsible for, that we get a lot of billing come through us here in our chambers. So I think what it is that
Do you
Mr.
wanna do
Mr.
another
Schultz, yeah, I
executive
think what we
session
need
at
to-
another time?
I think what we probably need to do is ask the attorney, this is not a disciplinary thing, it's just a communication process, is to send a rice notice to the clerk's office so that we can have a closed session after the next meeting to discuss our communication and what, you know, what the duties are and what we would like to see as the five of us supervisors of the clerk's office, just so we can get things in writing and understand exactly the job description and what our wishes are as far as communication might be from several things that have been brought up over the past couple of months. So we'll have, you can please send a res notice to the clerk's office, and we'll have a discussion. And in the meantime, council members that would like to express communication or anything that they would like to see or hear or discuss at that meeting, if they could give me an email, one-on-one, no correspondence going back and forth, and I'll compile a list that will be very, very calm, so that we can all get on the same page and we can stop guessing and outguessing and questioning things. And, okay, is that good?
You want that for the next council meeting?
Yeah. And I think then we can settle a lot of issues.
I like it.
Settle a lot of issues.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mike Kawati,
That's what.
Kahwaty. So number one is, I'd like to congratulate the clerk on the proclamation they received. That was very nice and well-deserved in my opinion. Since this new council, and I have to say council as a whole, because you guys are all up there, there seems to have been some kind of big discrepancy between, I don't know if it's the council president and the clerk or what have you, but there seems to be a little bit of a witch hunt from my opinion, from what I can see. And I've come to just about every one of these meetings and you've seen it, but I definitely want to put that on record. And it seems like this is another one of those situations, Bob. I don't know if you have a personal agenda. I don't know what the situation is. You and I have had side conversations in reference to your relationship with the clerk. But there definitely seems to be some personality and differences. And I've talked to your clerk and I've talked to you. But I think that should be worked out outside of town council. Because every time we come to town council and there is a little bit of a situation, it becomes a bigger situation. So I think if you can't work it out, leave it alone. That's my opinion.
This is a personnel matter, so the council's not gonna get into any back and forth discussion.
Yeah,
Right,
about
so
any constitutional issues.
that was what I want to say on that aspect. The other aspect is, the police officer brought up, in reference to the potential of a lawsuit of something that you guys have had for 3 weeks. A grievance, excuse me. He brought up a grievance, but then he said he's gonna have no choice.
Mike.
I apologize, I addressed you guys, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So he had a grievance that may in turn result in a lawsuit. This is not the first time and not the second time. This is the third time that we have heard the word lawsuit since the town council got the reorg meeting back in January. Don't like hearing that word lawsuit. And I think if you had that much time to prepare for something, there's 5 of you guys. So I think if there's 1 or 2 that doesn't understand the situation, that you can have that meeting in an executive meeting, one of these past boards, council meetings that we've had, to get that resolved. So by this time, we don't have to hear that word lawsuit again. This town has always gotten along. I've been to town councils over the last 4 years, I guess. I've never heard that word lawsuit until January. And then I've heard it a lot. And I think that if you've got the time, and if you don't understand the situation, get a better understanding. Everybody's got a phone, everybody's available to talk to and have a conversation with, so that when it comes to council, we don't have to hear, your taxpayers don't have to hear the potential of a lawsuit. Thank you.
And just to clarify the record, their next step is to go to arbitration. It wouldn't be to file a lawsuit at this stage.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
You're weird.
I'm sorry?
You're weird.
Why am I weird?
Because I've been to more meetings than you, and I've never heard the word lawsuit that way.
Okay, come on, no, we can't.
Mr. Mayor, distinguished members of the council, before I tell you my name, I would first like to congratulate all of you on a job well done, especially our fine men in blue that protect us each and every day, the members of the Jefferson Police Department. That being said, my name is Craig Kojak, Kojac. I am an attorney at law in New Jersey, but that's not important. What is important is the reason I'm here. And the reason I'm here is very simple. And everybody's going to be at ease when I tell you the reason I'm here, because it's in everybody's best interest. Every single person in this room. It's pedestrian safety. For years and years, I have witnessed so many close calls at the intersection of White Rock and Ridge Road. Recently, Ms. Palmer addressed the council asking that a study be undertaken, or at least discussion started, on the efficacy of placing a traffic control device at that intersection, or in the alternative, traffic calming devices. Now, the council knows that ordinances can be passed in furtherance of that agenda. The people of Logers Trailer Park and the surrounding community, they're just like you. They're just like everybody in the room. They like to take their dogs for walks. They like to go for walks, and they can't do it because there is no crosswalk at that intersection. As a matter of fact, the nearest crosswalk is 0.3 of a mile away at the intersection by the Acme. So that would mean that if I lived at Logers Trailer Park, I would have to walk on a 3-foot wide section of road I'm measuring from the grass to the line where the road starts, the shoulder, up an embankment, and traffic facing me would be blind. I'd have to walk 0.3 of a mile up a hill and then down to get to that crosswalk, to walk my dog, to go for a walk in the beautiful neighborhood of White Rock across the street. Ms. Palmer inquired, and she got a response. Her response was somewhat unacceptable. It was suggested in that response that the reason a traffic control device or crosswalk couldn't be considered was because of traffic being diverted through our beautiful community from Route 80. I ask you this: is a traffic concern more important than pedestrian safety? More important than your life, or all of your lives? And the answer, I think, is a resounding no. It's not more important. So let's at least get a discussion started. Whether we do it in a meeting after the public meeting, or we do it in a public forum, it's my strong suggestion that it gets done before something atrocious happens. And as a matter of fact, there was a very serious accident at that intersection, and it involved a police car and another resident leaving the park. Horrible, horrible things happened. Head injuries were sustained, multiple injuries were sustained. I've seen too many close calls for me not to go ahead and speak up at the urging of one of our great tenants. So please, I ask the council, Mr. Mayor, everybody involved, everybody here tonight, to please go ahead and let's start a study, propose an ordinance. The traffic control device doesn't have to be one thing or another. A stoplight may do it. However, that may necessitate a traffic control study by the state of New Jersey. If we have to get that done, let's get it initiated. However, speed bumps wouldn't really require that because they don't really slow down traffic. They slow it down for the purpose of pedestrian safety, but they don't impede the flow of traffic. A 4-way stop sign would also accomplish the same thing. I ask you to please consider all of these possibilities, or at the very least, a crosswalk. Just a crosswalk, just 2 lines painted across, adopted by a resolution put forth or ordinance put forth by you fine people to protect the people of our community so that we don't have to drive by and see emergency vehicles responding to the intersection as the result of an accident.
So we're a little over the 5-minute mark.
Okay, I'm sorry about
No,
that.
there's no hard and fast rule, but you might be fortunate that you have the business administrator, the acting mayor, and the police chief all here at the same time. Maybe
But
I can respond
But
because
I
we
want to
did,
respond real quick. She never came to the town
no,
council.
that's what I was
Oh,
gonna
she didn't.
clarify.
Okay.
No, so this is the first we're.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay.
That
And that is my misconception. I apologize to the good members of the
Yeah,
council.
she
Okay.
never come to the council, it came to the mayor
Thank you.
and the police department, I believe the mayor, and the mayor forwarded over to the traffic officer as well as the chief. And I believe our traffic officer responded,
Yes.
and I'll let the chief speak on this, cause he was
Okay.
there.
Yeah, what happened is the mayor sent everything over to traffic safety. Traffic safety responded, looked at it and gave it a no. And then, you responded back to the mayor and then I got involved after your response was. So what happened is after I said, I emailed you back and said, listen, we will respond, but it's gonna take a little bit. I'll let you know in a little bit. And that was the last email correspondence that I had with you. And what we've done since then is, we just can't arbitrarily put a crosswalk in. As you know, there's so many things that go into a crosswalk. ADA, they have to have certain pads. We have to have certain sight distances and stuff like that.
Mhm.
We just can't put one there. And the other problem is, do we have the land to do it all? To be compliant with the area. So what we're doing right now is I have engineering department working on this. Jim Lutz's office is involved. And also, we're looking at an outside contractor to assist us with this. I don't know the name of the outside contractor, but I'm sure GPI it's called. They're going to assist in doing that study there with traffic safety to see what we could do in that area. It would be great because the only area that we have walkway is on the southbound side, which is only by the Berkshire Ridge condos, then goes to the Milton Inn. That's pretty much where you have to go. Once you get to that area, it's all private residence, and on both sides, it's all trees.
Yeah, there's no way to get
So,
across.
Yeah.
So what's the time frame?
Years ago, when the property was, when we did, going back 10, 15 years ago, when we redid Ridge Road, we tried to do a federal grant, we weren't able to get the cross, with their walkways, because we wanted to put walkways all the way to Ackerson Field. We weren't able to get them in then. I don't know the reason why, but it was impossible to get them in then.
Mhm. What is the time frame for the study that's being performed?
I'll be honest with you, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take a while for them, to contract them, come out, do a study. Right now, and the thing is, like, we all know, but with this Route 80 sinkhole in place with that, we're having an abundance amount of traffic from Sussex County coming down the roadway right now.
That's why she can't get out of her house to walk her dog.
You're 100% right.
She can't get across the street.
The traffic is so slow through there in the morning, it's backed all the way up to White Rock Boulevard from Ridge Road, almost a dead stop because of the traffic in the morning. Because going to Oak Ridge Road, we get an accident on 23, it backs all the way up Oak Ridge Road to all the way up Ridge Road.
So again, as
We-
far as,
we-
I'm sorry.
We can't be going, I mean, it's gonna be another, public portions at the end of the meeting here, but the back and forth is okay.
I'm sorry, my one question, and any member of the council can answer, or distinguished members, mayor, is just how long will it take to initiate the traffic study?
We have to get a quote right now from GPI, so we're in the process of doing that. What I can do is if you have a card, we can keep you in the loop of where
That's
we
great.
are in the status, so
I'll
that
give you my
way
email.
you're, and we'll definitely keep Mrs. Palmer.
And will that require appropriation of monies by the town council?
It depends on what the quote comes in at, so it depends, if it's under 6,600, we only have to get one quote, if it's over that, then we may have to go out for some others.
And I ask the distinguished members of the council for your support when that comes up in front of you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We already knew that, obviously, thank you.
If you-
Okay, the floor is still open, public portion is open. Anyone that would like to lower? Okay. Seeing no one, we will, open it up for ordinance 2512. Please read the ordinance.
Ordinance 25-12, bond ordinance providing for the improvement of the water supply and distribution system, the FOA project, in and by the Township of Jefferson, in the County of Morris, New Jersey, appropriating $4 million therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $4 million bonds or notes of the township for financing such appropriation. If adopted, this ordinance shall take effect after publication and passage as provided by law. This is the public hearing.
Can we open the floor for the public hearing, please? State and spell your name if you have a comment. This will be the second call of the ordinance. Anybody like to comment on this ordinance? Okay, seeing no one?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Keilish.
Yes.
President Berman.
Yes. Okay. Next, we have discussion on the proposed billboard ordinance. Everybody saw it was pretty extensive.
Yep.
First time we've ever, I think I spoke with the administrator on this. This is, so again, safety reasons. Would you like to comment?
Sure. Well, we've been working with, we were approached by actually a property owner on Route 15 and, about, doing some sort of billboard. So we kind of dove into it with zoning and with our planner. And Jessica and Stephanie, myself and Eric have been working on this for a couple of months now, and we're at the point where we're ready for it to be kind of looked at. Stephanie's made some tweaks to the ordinance over time, Jessica's made some tweaks. What we're proposing is basically, it's billboards, but there would be a total of 4 allowed on the Route 15 side and 4 allowed on 23. It would be 2 for southbound, 2 for northbound, and same on 23 as well. And what it's kind of almost setting up is almost like gateway billboards, like kind of like, here you come into Jefferson or you're leaving Jefferson, with some advertisement. Jessica, I hate to say it, but some of the billboards that are currently on 15 were grandfathered in. I don't think some of them, we didn't have an ordinance like this put in place. So we felt it was important that we have to have something put in place. As part of this, it's also requiring that anytime somebody's gonna come in to look to put a billboard in, that they're gonna be required to go in front of the land use board under conditional use. So they're gonna have to provide a site plan showing all the information. If they're on 15 or 23, they're also gonna have to provide approvals that they've gotten DOT approval, because it's not something we can just say, hey, you can put that sign there, don't worry about DOT. So, we've really looked at this, it's been very extensive, so we wanted to bring it to council just if there's any comments or items related to it, and if not, then what we would propose is that Jessica and Stephanie would take it to the next land use meeting for discussion and their comments, and then proceed with potentially introducing, and then it goes back to land use because it's an amendment to the zoning ordinance. So it would go back to land use for their approval, and then it would come back here for final adoption. So that's what we're looking to do. If there's any questions or you have comments, let me know and we'll go from there.
From what I understand in our conversation today, Mr. Milliken, the way it is now, it puts Stephanie and the board in a position where they have to try to make decisions, and it's a peculiar situation, so this will establish the exact parameters that they have to be met. And indirectly, you almost could call this is the zoning code. If they don't meet this code, they don't get the privilege of having the sign,
Right.
but they can't supersede this thing. This is
Right, they have to meet the conditions of the conditional use. So any of the land use members know what, as part of that would require and everything, but it takes it off of the zoning officer to have to kind of figure out each, billboard that comes in. And if we get a multitude of them, she'll have a limit to what she can issue, but by it going to land use helps create everything so that we know what exactly they can and can't do and go from there.
And when this is adopted on the second reading, and it becomes law, ordinance, it's gonna go into our code with our existing sign ordinance.
It'll be,
The complement to the two will be
it'll
together.
be, and it'll be in addition to the sign ordinance that exists today, yes.
Council members have questions?
Sounds good.
Any questions?
If there's no questions or comments, then what I'm gonna do is give Stephanie the go-ahead to put it on for land use discussion. And then we'll wait for them to come back if they have any comments, and I'm hoping she'll get it on for the, I think you guys have a May meeting, right? Or do you
May
have two in
21st.
June? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Very good, thank you.
Well,
Thanks
now
for,
we're gonna make sure.
thanks for providing all this information. Very good, thank you.
That's good.
And then the other ordinance that we have on here is related to the police department. And, what it is, and the chief can speak on it if you want, but, it's basically amending our policing section of the ordinance, which is Division of Police, amending section 7-37, and we wanna create a letter G into this section, which basically, based off of the new statute, that state licenses are required, basically requiring that, you know, it says pursuant to provisions of NJSA 52:17B-67.1, all current and future law enforcement officers employed by the Township of Jefferson Police Department shall hold a valid active license issued by Police Training Commission, or as it's known, the PTC, in order to be employed as a police officer in the state of New Jersey. So it's just basically putting it on our record and in our ordinance, so if God forbid somebody loses theirs or we have a problem, we can deal with that the way we need to.
Yeah,
No
anybody have any comments on this?
issues?
Just quickly, prior to this going on to our, resolution for, consideration, I was interested in this because, New Jersey League of Municipalities had a seminar on police training and licensing, and I have no idea at all how it works. And it was very, very interesting to see the whole format of this in the webinar that they provided. And also interesting, I thought New Jersey is usually ahead of the curve, Chief, but prior to New Jersey adopting this standard, you know how many other states had licensing of police, roughly?
Very few on the West Coast.
They said that we were the 47th state to adopt police licensing. I was like, that's very strange, but it does have several bugs. One being that, which the guys are here, Billiard. One being that the licensing procedure, sadly enough, doesn't come with a mechanism that provides discipline, but license can be suspended or removed, which acts in the form of a discipline. So the state legislature and that adopted this and everything may need to codify this to try to either put some teeth in it or try to get some of the ambiguity out of this legislation. But New Jersey is the 47th state. I think it was Alaska or something like that, right? But you know, this is new. It's only went into effect about a year ago, and a little over a year ago. And it was a really interesting seminar.
Yeah, they signed the bill in 22 and it went into effect in 24.
Yeah.
So we just went through our first phase and we're on our second phase of licensing. And we've dealt with it, so that's why I just think,
It's important.
it's important that we have this.
Yeah.
And I think other municipalities have put this in place.
Yes, and I got this from Montville.
Okay.
Montville has this in place. They put it in a while ago. That's where I was able to get
Do
it.
we have an idea of where, I think we're in the middle of New Jersey as far as municipalities like adopting this?
That I did not check.
Yeah.
I have no idea where
Yeah.
we're at there.
But it was an interesting seminar. We did send me PowerPoints and stuff, if anybody, council was interested, I could forward that on. So it was fascinating. It touched on a lot of stuff, this was just one small aspect of the reform that's going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, the good thing about it, it's for ethical reasons. Also, you have training, mandatory training you have to take. So, they're housing all the training, all the certificates, so they see exactly, so they're the oversight.
Very good. So everybody's good with
How long do they have to do, how long is the course? And is
Well,
it
it's not a
every
course.
It's not a course.
It's not a
You
course.
have to get this license.
Yeah, you have to have a PTC, you have to go to the police academy
Oh,
and
it's
have
part
a
of that course?
PTC. So you have to complete 6 months of training. If you don't complete that training,
You don't got to do this.
then you don't get a PTC number.
And it's good forever, unless they get
No,
once, or
it's
they have
only
to
good for
redo it?
3 years.
Okay.
So, and what happens is every 3 years, we have to do a background investigation. Lieutenant Stokes right now is, my liaison for this. He does everyone's background investigation. So it encompasses everyone's social media pages, their discipline, domestic violence, any domestic violence incidents. All that has to be listed on the application. It's submitted to them and they review it, and some get held up. Yep. I think the last I heard there was like there's 30,000 police officers, I think 35,000 police officers in New Jersey. I think they did license about 500 of them.
How does cross-state licensing work? Like if somebody's licensed in Pennsylvania or something, you know?
We cannot accept any licensing except New Jersey. We can't take Florida, we can't take Pennsylvania, but New Jersey, if you go someplace else, you'll get a license easily. Our standards are a little bit
I
higher.
have relatives in Maryland, which is similar to New Jersey, and they're actively recruiting people from Pennsylvania,
Yes,
Virginia, all over the
Yes.
place and stuff like that.
correct.
But New Jersey doesn't really, it's very difficult to bilateral transfer from that state, I guess. I know.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Very cool.
Thank you.
So if there's no issue, then we'll put this on for introduction at the next meeting. Thank you.
Very good. So next we'll go into some council business, so resolution 28-125, authorizing the payment of the bills. Is there a motion?
I'll motion it.
I'll second.
Any comments?
We had a few questions for Debbie. She just happened to be at in our session when we were reviewing the bills, and she answered all the questions.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the council members that take the time to review this, because this is a major part of what we do as an administrative and financial body for the Township of Jefferson. Thank you, Mr. Garudo in particular, for always getting involved with this, and Mr. Schultz for stepping in so many times too. And anybody else that would want to coordinate.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Davis.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Yes. Next, we have resolution 25-126, resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed 21,604,417 bond anticipation notes of the Township of Jefferson, the County of Morris, New Jersey. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, comment on this? I wish I had mentioned this to when we spoke today. I was just curious, this went out to bid, right? For,
No, this is our
this is
notes.
the big bond anticipation.
Right, we have to go out. This is the resolution to go out for
Yeah.
our notes. So this is a normal rollover that we do every year. And we're actually, as part of this note, we're paying off over $2 million in notes this year. So just so that council's aware.
That's what we discussed during the budget portion. That it looks like you're borrowing a lot, but they're paying off more than what we're borrowing. So the end result, the debt statement that comes out at the end of January next year should show a reduction in the overall debt, as Mr. Vegan had eloquently expressed to us during the little sixth meeting. Okay.
That's a good thing.
Good.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Davis.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Yes. Next, resolution 25-127, resolution authorizing a non-fair and open contract for well decommission services for DP Pump Service, DPS Pump Service LLC. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Comment? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Davis.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Yes. Next, resolution 25-128, resolution authorizing award of non-fair and open contract for the construction services to Richard Norris Construction. Is there a
Motion.
second? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, just to confirm with Mrs. Milliken, it exceeds the 17,500, but there were three quotes on this, right, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, but
and it was part of the pay-to-play packet that I think all the council got in their folder.
and the reason that was in our discussion that it has to be worded in this fashion is because it exceeds that 17,500 threshold.
Yes,
Okay, very good.
yes, because of pay-to-play, otherwise it's under our bid threshold, but because of the pay-to-play law, if we have to award every contract over 17.
But we did, but to clarify for everybody, even though it doesn't stipulate, there were actual quotes, so this is the low, indirectly the low bidder or the low quoter.
Yeah, this guy won by $500.
Well, I didn't take time to research that, but thank you.
Gotta read 'em.
Thank you. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Keilish.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Yes. Resolution 25-129, resolution authorizing contracts with certain approved state contract vendors for contracting units pursuant to NJSA 40A 11-12A, custom adage.
Vantage.
Custom adage. You gotta be from Long Island, you gotta say.
This one threw me off.
Okay, is there a
I
motion to?
know, no, but Debbie answered, I was like, how many tires is that? She's like, it's all the tires. I was like, oh, okay.
It's not a
Just
lot
say
of
that.
tires. At the end of
It's
the
not
day,
a lot of
it's
Yeah,
tires,
it's
but
not.
it's a lot of different ones. I'll take a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Keilish.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Yes. Okay, resolution 25-130, resolution authorizing contracts with certain approved New Jersey state cooperative purchasing contracts, vendor for contracting units, Nielsen Ford of Morristown, Inc. Wait a minute. I'm listening to a commercial. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Okay, you go. Comment, question?
Is this just for normal parts?
Yes.
For
We
like
do.
belts and
Yeah,
brake
this
pads
is,
and all the stuff
I
we
mean,
do on
we do a
premises?
fleet contract, so this is through the state contract, so yeah, this
Appreciate
is,
it.
this is everything
That's all.
related to what mechanics need.
Oh my God, they're always fixing stuff. It's insane.
You can see there's a huge list of items involved with these, to work with. Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Keilish.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Yes. Resolution 25-131, resolution requesting approval of item revenue appropriation under New Jersey SA 40A-4-87 for the 2025 distracted driving crackdown grant in the amount of $7,000. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions on this grant? It's good. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Keilish.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Yes. Resolution 25-132, resolution requesting approval of item of revenue and appropriation under NJSA 40A-487 for the 2025 recycling tonnage grant in the amount of $35,468.81. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Is there a second? Yeah, just real quick, Mr. Milliken, I looked at the check that came with this grant, and it's for 2022. So, I believe that Patty Romano, she did a fantastic job in getting us, all this money. But let me see, it says 2025 recycling tonnage grant. Should the actual check that came in, should we do 2022?
I mean, Bill
I'm just
prepared this,
remembering
so
that
I
now.
believe, I think it's, you know, it's because it's going into our system now, I think that's why it's 2025.
But the actual, what was applied for, we're getting it very late.
Yeah, well, they're typically a year to 2 years behind before we get the actual
So
plan.
this is 2022, so you're looking at like,
Right, but it's going into this year's
Yeah.
revenue, so
Yeah.
that's why it's 2025.
okay, but, looking at the check, what, I think it might have been last year that she actually prepared it, because right now we have, person doing the grant. This is really good. This is really good, and some towns don't always get the maximum, so 35,000 is fantastic. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Keilish.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Yes. Resolution 25-128, resolution authorizing contracts with certain approved state contract vendors for contracting units pursuant to NJSA 40A 11 12A. I'm sorry, I'm reading.
No, 133.
I have to flip the page.
I know, I he's double-sided.
Double-sided. So next is the liquor. Is your?
Yeah.
You want to read as the, you handle this, right? This is your
I did.
cup of tea, right? Liquor licenses. Yeah, all right. Resolution 25-133, resolution authorizing the issuance of planetary retail distribution license to T&T Liquors Inc., 725 Route 15 South, Jefferson, New Jersey, 07945. Is there a motion?
Vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comment on this?
Thank Michelle, and the council, and also the previous council, because all this is happening because the one company bought the liquor license.
Mhm.
And the money,
And the
the
money.
money comes in the next, in the next week.
Yep.
Once the resolution's passed.
We still have one more, right?
We probably could have done another one years ago. Our population has dropping the last two cycles, census cycles, right?
Addition.
Okay.
It's true.
Is there a roll call, please?
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Keilish.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Yes. Resolution 25-135, resolution authorizing the person-to-person transfer of planetary retail consumption license. Everybody can read that number. It's online. It's in the agenda. To Brian Tobin. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second? Any comment on this transfer? Question? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Keilish.
Yes.
President Birmingham.
Yes. Next, administrative reports of the acting mayor and administrator.
So it's one and the same tonight, so you're lucky.
Got 2 for 1?
All right, dashboard reports were emailed out yesterday to council for the month of April, so you should have all gotten them. Algonquin water main test came back fine. All homes on that road will be connected to the new water main next week. The reason it was pushed back was due to all the wet weather we were supposed to have this week, so it'll be next week. Last Monday, a meeting was held with the new representatives from New Jersey Natural Gas. Brian Klinger has retired. They will be keeping in contact with the township on the various projects proposed, and they will be completing and working related to the paving schedule. And it was a great meeting. We had about 6 of them here, and definitely very excited to see the new faces with New Jersey Natural. I'm gonna be honest, we did get a lot of complaints over the years about Mr. Klinger. So their new team of marketing are gonna be great, so we're excited about that. On Wednesday, I attended the election meeting with the clerk's office related to the ADA items that need to be addressed with our polling locations. The clerk's office has everything all set up, and we'll be working with DPW just to make sure all our signage is updated. Also, my thanks to the clerk's office, Michelle and Amanda, for completing the shredding event for the various departments last week. There were over 70 boxes approved through the Artemis system through the state of New Jersey for destruction, so that was very good. The Recreation Department, Jefferson Arts Committee, and Jefferson Education Foundation met with us and our emergency team, a management team, regarding their J-Town Jamboree. I don't know if you've heard about this. It's going to be held on July 12th, and it's a food truck music festival, so that's coming this way. I think it's 11 to 7, am I correct, Grace? So that'll be something exciting coming up. Route 80 update is that unfortunately they are running behind related to the 80 westbound. This portion of 80 will be reopened. They were supposed to have it opened last week or Yeah, last week, and they ran into some issues, so that's not gonna be open until the end of May. However, 80 eastbound with the 2 lanes is still slated to open around May 22nd, and the entire project's supposed to be completed by June 25th. I'm hoping we're gonna have a DOT meeting this week or next week, hopefully on that. I was in Wisconsin from Friday till Sunday doing the final truck inspection on company number 1's new mid-mount ladder truck. These trips are always interesting because we review the specs of the truck and review the entire truck to make sure things are done and any issues are addressed prior to the truck being driven to New Jersey and delivered to fire and safety. The tentative time for the truck, it is an impressive truck, I'm just gonna tell you, it looks
I
good.
saw the video.
So, and it's gonna fit perfectly in the firehouse, we're not gonna have any issues, so it's actually smaller than the existing truck.
But
But
the ladder's
anyway,
a lot higher.
what?
But the ladder's higher.
No, that ladder's 5 feet shorter, it's 100 foot, that one's 100.
Oh, you got fire company number 2 is like 15 feet high.
They have 107.
Yeah.
So once a firm date is set, I will be advising everybody. It looks like it's gonna be the week of May 19th, but again, we have to wait and see. And they have this neat tracker on it, so we can watch it come across from Wisconsin to New Jersey, so we're gonna get that.
Kind of like an air
On Saturday, the Historic Preservation Committee from the county will be on site inspecting Camp Jefferson and the Chamberlain House. Just as a note, it's also the Chamberlain House or the museum's flower sale on Saturday, so if you wanna get some flowers, I know they have some beautiful flowers there. Lake Opakon Block Party will be held on Saturday, May 17th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Lake Opakon State Park. The township will have a table along with the police department, and I'll be in attendance for the opening ceremonies. And then I have to head to a softball tournament up in Vernon with my daughter. And then finally, the Firemen's Carnival will be held Wednesday, May 28th through Saturday, May 31st, and fireworks are scheduled for Saturday, May 31st. And I know they'll be sending out a volunteer sign up very soon, so once we get that, I'll let everybody know. That's all I have, and the mayor just says, arrivederci.
And I'd like to thank the administrator because the weekly report that you send out often has what you relay to us here at the council meeting. So we're hearing it sometimes for the second time, and then the whole public is getting a chance to hear it all now. But you mentioned May 17th, block party. That's going to conflict with our hazardous waste thing. So we have two things going on at one time, right?
And the town
That's
garage
good.
sale.
And the town
Oh,
garage
yeah,
sale.
town garage sale.
17th.
Yeah.
We have over 100 houses set up.
Yeah, that'd be good, actually, if they can get rid of their stuff before people come to their house to buy their stuff, right? Okay, will we have enough police chief's reports since you're there? No.
Nah, we're good. Trying slow.
Everything's safe here in Jefferson?
Jefferson's safe, right?
We just, what are we, we're 4th now, we came out number 4 in the state of New Jersey. Safest city, that, I think the mayor published that.
Yes.
So,
Aw, you're number 1 with us, Paul.
yes,
Good.
we're doing well.
Okay, so
That's impressive.
we'll go to, council reports. This is, Council Vice President Kalish, and I guess, Councilwoman Dewitter, you go last this time.
Okay.
I get to go first? Okay.
Yes.
Attended the Chamber of Commerce dinner, I thought it was well attended. Kudos to Jay getting that award, very happy for him. He was very emotional and just a great night. And I'm glad I was able to attend. Last week, attended the Day of Prayer. Paulie Sean did a great job. I know Barb was there, Bob was there, Melissa was there. Just, you know, just a great day, and the weather was beautiful, so just great turnout. Yeah, so what happened to our fire truck? Was there, I heard we had a little fender bender.
Yeah, I found out about that while I was in Wisconsin. It was that we had a landing zone on Saturday. Somebody got hurt with JP Tree Company.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And they had to medevac him out.
Okay.
And so what happened was the fire truck, which
Took a sharp
it's
turn.
our newest, I'm glad the Vander,
Yeah, I know,
Mark
I know.
is on here. But it made too sharp of a turn. And
You have any idea what?
I don't know the damage
Okay,
cost. They
okay.
replaced the tire on Monday as soon as I got
Couldn't have
back.
been one of the old ones, right? It had to be
Yeah, so So, we're working on estimates right now, but
Okay.
it's back in service until it
Okay.
goes out for repair. We
Okay.
did show that to, Eric Trevino from Fire and Safety, so,
Yeah,
we'll
with
see.
the fell between the.
yeah, definitely, the person who had the accident.
Yeah,
did not have
yeah,
it.
that's what
He's very upset about it.
That's what I heard, that's what I heard. That's, Mr. President, that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. And now people are gonna get a chance to echo you instead of you echoing.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine, that's fine.
Not really.
Not really.
Some people eventually.
Not me.
Okay, so we'll, next, Councilman Schultz.
Yes, I was not able to attend the Chamber of Commerce event, but now I'm a member of Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, there you go.
I just,
Now you have to go.
right, now I get all the email notifications and so forth, and unfortunately, work was very busy over the past 2 weeks, so I wasn't able to attend the National Prayer.
I wasn't, so, just so you know, yeah,
I know.
I was just, I was really talking for Jay, not about you not attending.
No, I hear it. I try to attend everything, but
Okay.
unfortunately work gets in
So-
the way. But I did manage to attend the Board of Education budget proposal meeting.
Yes, you did.
Let's just say the state of the education is bleak. I mean, Bob's words, he said, when I talked to him afterwards, I was like, it's bleak, it's bad. The financial situation of the board is just terrible. I don't know what the answers are for it. I know there's an imbalance amongst state aid, even though we got a little more aid last time, this coming year, but it's just not enough with all the expenses that they have. They did make some cuts regarding the closing of the schools and so forth, but, I think we need to ask ourselves, and it's not any, it's nobody's fault, it's just the circumstances, like, why is enrollment down for our schools? We used to be around 4,000, now we're down to 2,500. Is it something federally that's going on? Is it something that the state can do, locally? Is it, I don't know. I don't know what the answers are, I just know as a real estate professional, we're not turning over houses in Jefferson like we should. So, people having their kids, they're going through the schools, they're not moving out. They're staying put for now. So we're not getting that turnover, and that's just one variable. There's plenty of others to talk about. Debbie, I just wanted to give you this. I didn't have time to print out a bunch of copies for the board, but I had a colleague that did an analysis of our employee health benefits. And I know you guys did the JIF conference and all that stuff, and a lot of those townships actually reached out for this company personally as a possible option. So I just want to give you this information. And if you guys want it, just let me know. I didn't have time today. I did a round trip to Baltimore and back today, so I got back late. So I would have, and he said, yeah, I had to pick up my kid from college. So if you guys want the information I just gave to Debbie, maybe it can save us some money. It's just a visual and possibly do that. And regarding, in the beginning, when we do our pledge, we do the moment of science. I'm sort of grasping onto that idea. We do it with the committee now. It was an introduction. So I just want to make a motion. Maybe we can do that as a regular event.
I'll second it.
All right. Thanks. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes, but we didn't have to do that, okay.
Vice President Kalish.
I have a question for the clerk. Could I ask a question before I vote?
Sure.
Okay. I'm under the understanding, Michelle, that, I thought we weren't allowed to change to do.
Well, I'll say
I just need a better understanding before I can vote yes. I don't have a problem with having a silence, a moment of silence. I just want to understand, what the legalities are.
Mr. Cash, I think when I spoke with you, after the National Day of Prayer ceremony for gazebo, we talked about it being non-sectarian, so it wouldn't be.
No, that wasn't my concern. My concern was Michelle brought up something, that there was something, an ordinance or something
No, I said
that
it's
we
not
have to
in our
follow.
code under the order of agenda. It's not one of the items listed in the code, is what I said to the council vice president.
Okay,
So we
So-
can certainly put an ordinance introduction
Well-
to change that particular side.
that's all I'm saying, is we gotta change the code.
I think we have, let me ask the,
Yeah, yes, the council certainly can adopt a resolution to, include that into their business of meetings.
and then when we modify the code, because we're going through the whole process,
Incorporate that.
just.
Then we
put that
can-
into
then we
the
can
code
upgrade
For
it.
future councils and stuff, benefit, but we're, well, I mean, it seems to me that I'm voting yes, and with 5 of us are agreeing to have this, moving forward then. Right after the pledge of allegiance, that would work out good. Yeah. You have a vote?
Yeah, like I said, I just wanted to make sure that we were just doing,
Yes.
legally correct, that's all.
That's good. Thank
Like I
you.
said, I have no problem with it at all.
Thank you, and I'll vote yes also. Mr. Schultz, continue.
That's it, I'm done.
Councilwoman Senator.
Deb, with the dashboard reports, I was looking those all over today, and it seems like our court money is really down and tickets are really down.
Actually, this month right now,
We're better than in
Is-
May.
yeah, no, April was higher than any of the other months right now.
It seemed like April for a lot of things though was down.
I mean, it depends on, the cycle of events too, but
Yeah.
it's still on par pretty much with what we normally do on.
So usually we have a couple slow runs, because it seemed like that for even Dial a Ride and everybody, it seemed like April was pretty.
Dire rides fluctuate,
Yeah, that
so,
would be-
it depends, the court though, I thought actually was up.
Oh.
Yeah, there was all different, when you click through the different tickets and stuff like that, so. That was, I was just curious about,
Yeah,
zoning and stuff like that, those kind of tickets. I know, he's busy, we got a lot going on in town.
it is.
Yes.
I mean, we collected, I think it was 12,000 this
Yeah.
month, which was higher than last year.
And we
Last
could
month
probably
was
double
8.
that, so there's a lot going on in town. So that was just my question, was that.
Okay.
We had our land use board meeting that I represent the council, and that was 4 hours last week, and the blueprints are enormous, so I'd like to thank myself that I do all that work for the council. Countless hours of blueprints and meetings for this, because now we have 2 next month. So those are the extra things I do for the council.
You're the best person for that, Joe.
And Paul too.
Oh, and the chief sits next to me, busting my chops the whole time.
We make it eventful,
We do make it eventful. I love that we voted no.
absolutely.
Finally, got them to vote no.
It's our first no,
You can wear a shirt that says, not a rubber stamp.
They don't like me, that's okay. It's all right, that's why I'm there. To the town. So, all good. And then, of course, the chamber dinner, the day of prayer, which I really love that we do that. It was, again, a beautiful day. And looking forward to a great summer. Our lake looks great. A lot going on with the Lake Apacon Commission. And it looks like we're gonna have a lot of police presence this year. Apacon has a new boat, so they've got a boat. That might be something we might be looking into. Add some tickets and money to J-Town since we have the most area. Come on now. Open, how about resident tickets? I can just throw some stuff there. We can, 5 mile an hour zone, we can need some extra cash.
We'll take out your Chris-Craft.
Yeah, we can take out the fire
Good
boat.
show you.
Why don't you go first? I'll do citizens money, we need some extra money.
so many police boats out there now, there's not gonna be any room for citizens.
I know.
Exactly.
But, yeah, so let's have a safe, voting season and, the high school and all the sports are out, so hopefully we can all, participate and see everybody, cause everybody's winning and doing great, so hopefully we can support the kids as well. We have the, water wars, prom is coming up, so everybody be patient, cause, prom's coming. And graduation, so I know we get loaded in J-Town with cars and your neighbors and parties, so let's all be patient, it's all coming. That's it.
Hey, thank you, Senator. Yeah, so I attended the National Day of Prayer. There were 4 of us there. Maybe there'll be 5, I don't know. We need all the help we can get, obviously, but it was again a beautiful day. I don't know if you're ever gonna pick a day to do something outside. The last 3 times we served on that date, on the first
Yeah, it's been-
Thursday of May, it's been absolutely wonderful. I think there were 5 different churches from town that participated. It was great, and Father, Sean he ran the music. He controlled the music from his cell phone.
So,
It was really a great event. I mean, I'm not good. I don't know if you can outdo the weather. The last couple of years have been fabulous. I think Mr. Schultz mentioned attending the budget session of the Board of Ed. It was the first time I was at one of those meetings, and I don't know, half a generation or so. I can't even remember. The only thing that they seemed to, I don't know exactly how or why or where, but the only thing that I noticed that they seemed to have a handle on was their healthcare costs, increasing upper single digits. I don't know if they had a huge increase last year or what the reasoning for
I
this.
think that's a result of layoffs that they're doing.
Oh, yeah, that's part of it, yeah. But the overall, I think the 7.4 to 7.9, I think, so, it can't be, I'd like to know what their rate, what their percent interest would be if everything was the same, it'd be interesting to, I guess we could get an idea from that, right, just to see. The Chamber of Commerce dinner was fabulous, all the people, I mean, you turn around, you know everybody in the place for many, many years, for so long. And of course, Jay Dunham, getting the Person of the Year award it was great to see that, see him so chipper and happy and everything. I mentioned the police training, the League of Municipalities thing. I would recommend if anybody, when you see stuff, if everybody, they let you know pretty far in advance what they're having as far as their web podcasts and webcasts are. Just a question, Debbie, with regard to budgeting process. Obviously, one of the best things that the council can do to learn is to get a webinar that they really know. It saves on transportation time and cost and everything. We might have had a little bit low amount in for, because the clerk had sent an email out that some of the council members have reached their limit of like 200 and something, so it was. Do we have, and it was really, the new council members were encouraged to take classes and all-day classes, and I think they even actually paid for themselves for one of the seminars too, is that right, Mrs.?
Oh, I can
Yeah, but, there are other things like transportation, there are other, I know, are they tied now, they can't get any more
I mean,
training?
the budget was set up the way it was. If we knew about the increase, we would have added that into the budget. So we can definitely budget properly for next year for it.
So that's why we make the extra money a month. You can use that towards that. That's what the money's for. When I have to go to, political things and things like that, that's what I use that money for.
Well,
It's not like that pays for anything else, I mean, it's not that much at all.
I think I recall, it didn't even pay for your nails and.
Doesn't even, not even, that's hair and
You
eyelashes.
said that like a year ago.
what I'm saying is that, of
Once
course,
every twice a week, it does not cover it.
there's that costs some money, but you learn a lot. The league event in November.
Well, that's always built into that's there. That money's there for the league.
If a member wasn't going there, but wanted to take some training on their own before.
I mean, we can look into it. I
Yeah.
mean, if
I don't
somebody
think
lets
it's
me
gonna
know
use-
what they're looking for, we'll check it.
So I think that someone told me they made a comment in the beginning that they didn't want to use up their training and that there are other accounts that they can use. I mean, I don't know, we'll see. I just don't want anybody to feel like they can't stop learning or that they have to go to the league thing in November in order to, expedite learning stuff back then, But I thank them, I thank the new council members for taking all these classes, taking like a couple Saturdays on their own, spending some of their own money, to do this also. It's good, very good.
It's just less questions that Debbie has to take on.
And you come back from
She's
the
always so graceful.
you come back from the training sessions and have a lot of, they give you questions, you end up with a lot of questions, right?
I can't stump her, she has an it's great.
It's my
She
job.
does. Yeah, but it's like rapid fire, no matter what question I have, I love the way that you just have it all. So thank you, always for that. She does, very good.
Okay.
So, you're gonna go last, is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
I just wanna finish real quick.
Goes my truck.
I just wanted to stop, I don't wanna give it, I can't stand when people ask me questions, and I don't know for sure what any of the answers are. I know, Mr. Ryan, don't forget, that if people want, as a government body, your the municipality, the governing body has certain, avenues where information is available to the public, especially for people that are being paid by tax dollars. So if there's contracts with the municipality, those contracts are available to the public for anybody that wants to peruse those contracts. If
Sure,
it was
they're all-
salaries, anything else like that.
They're available, sure, they can file a open public records request. Yeah.
So for that, and somebody asked, with, government or public employees, like timesheet records, what, is involved with that?
Well, again, what they should do is, they should file a open public records request, and then that request gets evaluated to determine if there's any exceptions that may apply to the specific information that they would be requesting.
But
If there are no exceptions, then those documents are produced in accordance with the statute.
So exemptions would be things like,
Personnel information.
yeah. But strict hours of leaving or vacation or anything like that is a public record.
Generally available, yeah.
In a public setting, obviously, a private company is a whole nother story, but as a government entity, you're required to produce certain things that you would think are
We're
not.
subject to the Open Public Records Act, which private companies, of course, are not.
Yeah. Okay. And then lastly, I'd like to, actually thank Mr. Schultz for bringing up the idea of us meeting in an executive session, just trying to get everything together, realizing that we're a committee of a whole, and, and people have certain, either expectations or communication or whatever, and if we can all get on the same page, it would be fantastic. And thank you for just coming up with that, suggestion out of the sky blue, and hopefully, again, anybody that has, any pertinent questions or anything, just forward me, and I'll try to get it all on the list together so we can leave there amicable and on the same page, and hopefully move forward with continuity. So I have Mrs. Councilwoman Guido.
Well, everybody went to everything, but, Josh and I are the committee for the EDC, and I was trying to get a Department of Labor class for all of our businesses, because there's so many different rules and there's so many ways that you can get caught up and get fines. But magically, the Department of Labor is no longer doing classes. So if you know anybody, a professional that wants to do it for free, because we don't have a budget for that, let me know, because I would love to help out the small businesses, because especially in the summertime with the lake, there are so many rules for underage kids, like, and obviously under 18, that a business can get caught up in. So that's just my 2 cents in trying to find somebody, if you know anybody. And that's it. Where's all the other stuff? Short and sweet. I don't like this one.
Okay. So next, we'll move to, minutes, regular meeting minutes, April 16th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Is there a second? And I just wish I didn't have to bring this up. I don't know. At the last meeting, Mr. Ryan wasn't here, so I read an email that he sent. And he went over our official township code. And we did discuss in the early part of the meeting that our code is our ordinance, it's our constitution. And I read, the excerpt that he sent, that he copied the administrator, copied the mayor, copied the clerk. And part that I wanted to get on the record was that he wrote on April 14th this year. An agenda for each regular meeting of the council shall be prepared by the clerk under the supervision of the president of the council. Okay, I said that, and we got the minutes late on Monday. Not really, people were, it's kind of like, getting it maybe on a Friday or so. There's a lot to digest before a meeting. And getting it late, looking at it, Monday evening, I saw that what I had quoted from Mr. Ryan verbatim, was exactly what he put in the code, in our township code, exactly what's in our township code, that he quoted, that I read verbatim. And I simply asked the clerk to put my word verbatim into the minutes. We went back and forth, and it should have been something that took about 30 seconds. Went back and forth with emails and it shouldn't have taken any time at all. It should have just been a non-issue. Because I know that our code, and most people like our code because it's our constitution, it says that a council member has the right, any council member has the right to request a comment that they make into the minutes, okay? So all I did was ask that comment be presented exactly as Mr. Ryan provided it. Instead, it came out that.
Council President, you gonna get into a personal?
No.
Yeah, you are.
Here,
No.
we have
We're
to
past that,
amend
there it is.
No, because this is, I wanna see now if my correction was made or not. I asked for it to be corrected exactly the way our code says, and maybe I should just try to make a motion to.
We have a motion and a second.
Motion to table it? There was a motion to table it.
We're gonna talk about it in
If
closed
it's something
session.
up for discussion, yeah, we
We
should.
can discuss this in
I'll make a
closed session.
motion to table the
We-
minutes until we
Okay.
can work this out.
Okay, very good. Is there a second? Table the minutes.
Yes,
Table, absolutely.
Okay,
so we're tabling the minutes?
yeah. Roll call, please.
Okay.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Abstain.
Vice President Kalish.
I abstain.
President Berman.
Yes. Okay. So we can get this addressed for the next meeting. Okay. So next we have no permits, we have no appointments, we have the consent agenda resolutions. And there are 4 resolutions, 25, 135, 136, 137, 138. They don't have to be read by title, because they're part of our consent agenda. So is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gurudo.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Kalish.
Yes.
President Berman.
Yes. Okay, next we'll have the public session. Okay, please state, spell your name for the record. Each speaker is limited to 1 comment, no more than 5 minutes.
Robert Vanderploeg, Vanderploeg. Just wondering if there's any update on the tax reevaluation for the town? Has there been any progress, any updates? Tick tock, time's running out.
We're out to bid we're out for RFP right now, and they're due in, I believe it's May 20th. So once we have those, we'll have an idea of a number, we'll review them as a group, and then, we'll figure out what the funding's gonna have to be for the project. So our goal is to try to get the funding in place in June and award in July.
Thank you.
Should I just follow up on that? I know I saw an email that said that it went into the paper, it was being advertised.
It was advertised on April, I think it was 29th. So, and they're due in on May 20th at 11 a.m.
I think there's, in the paper is great, but I think there's only 6 companies that are actually certified to do this. Are we also rather than, I mean, they have to advertise it. Are we like reaching out to each individual company to try to get
My
responses?
understanding, the assessors reached out to everybody.
Yeah, okay, very good. Very good, thank you. Comment? No.
Donna Vanderploeg, Vanderploeg. I want to thank Councilman Schultz in Birmingham for going to the Board of Ed budget hearing. As I had mentioned at the last council meeting, that I would like it, like we have Councilwoman Senator as a representative on the planning board or the land use board now. We used to, when I served on the Board of Education, there was always a council member that was not a voting member but did come to the Board of Ed meetings and then would give a report back at the council meetings like you're doing now on other things that you might be attending as a council member. It would be nice if you kind of did that, because a lot of money is being spent. And I don't think the health care coverage is going down in the school district because we're cutting staff, because the staff we're cutting is really just coming from that one Cozy Lake school and then maybe a couple teachers here and there. But 27 staff members is not a whole lot. We're really not making a lot of cuts. But we're cutting a lot of services and we're cutting a lot of programs. And I think the reason that our enrollment is down is due to COVID, where parents, the kids were not able to go to school and the kids had to do the home learning Zoom, and the parents got a real, look at how education was being done. And people ended up pulling their kids out of public schools and homeschooling them or sending them to private school. Because I'll tell you, a lot of people, especially my bus stop, and yeah, it's mainly my grandchildren at my bus stop, but they're alive again, these bus stops. So we have a lot of young kids going in the elementary level. So enrollment was never at 4,000, maybe 32, 34, 3,400 maybe, or at the top. But anyway, so there's that. There's what was I gonna say? Oh, if now that the meetings are being videotaped, if you want to go back and see what somebody actually said at a meeting and then see if it's in the minutes, you can go to the videotape on the YouTube channel. And also for executive session that you're going into tonight, I did not know anything about what was going to be discussed until that officer came up here. But as a former Board of Ed member, I can tell you sidebar agreements are deadly. They are destructive. And I don't care if the superintendent thought that he had the papers from that sidebar agreement in a safe in his office. The word still got out to the other bargaining units. And once you give to one, it's a snowball effect. And it will, then everyone else will be coming up and wanting the same thing. So just keep that in mind when you do go back. I back the blue 100%. Most of you know that my son's a police officer. It's nothing against that. It could have said anything. It could have said any other bargaining agreement. It didn't have to say PBA. I'm just talking about the word sidebar agreement. It's deadly. And it's nothing that you want to really be doing. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Public portion, the floor is open. Anybody? Okay. See, no one will close the public portion. And we'll go into executive session on a topic. Do you want to read the topic?
Matters relating to collective bargaining agreements, the PBA 190 sidebar agreement.
Wanna make- wanna make one comment?
Then after we have a motion and a second. Did you comment?
Did he motion? I'll motion.
There's a second?
Oh, it goes to session?
Yeah.
Yes.
Motion second. Okay. Comment, questions?
So I just wanna ask Mr. Ryan, so before we go into closed session, if we agree to, move forward, can we come back out and vote?
Yeah, we would want to make clear to the public that we're going into executive
Yep.
session, and when we reconvene, we may
Okay.
take action,
Great.
once we do reconvene, but
Terrific.
members of the council can move that.
Is that okay if the resolution is not on the agenda for the public?
Yes, for this particular item, yes.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Deputy roll call.
Yeah, we'll first do that.
Motion to go into executive session.
Well, we did that.
Yeah.
We had a motion and a second.
Yep.
So we need a roll call?
Mrs. Baruda.
Yes.
Mr. Schultz.
Yes.
Mrs. Senator.
Yes.
Vice President Keeler.
Yep.
President Berman.
Yes. Okay.
I will.
I need to give you guys some help with your work.